Remember, tomorrow before class, okay? You have to email tomorrow before class.
Email us you?
Mm-hmm.
I want to aim higher.
No, I said just to pair so with bare minimum. You need 50. Yes. You can copy, no problem, but I want to see the entire solution correctly.
Okay.
So definitely I'm not going to cover everything today. So whatever you can finish, no problem. Okay, so among all the people who submitted by yesterday, there are 2 people who are very organized. I really like them. One of them is Skilla, right? One of them is Skilla and one of them is Asim. But I found some mistake on Asim, so I didn't take entirely everything. I just took a glance and I thought, well, let me start with Kayla. Probably I can find some mistake and then we'll be able to fix together. Okay. So all the questions you see in the review sheet, most of them will be in the final exam. I highlighted something with green, not highlighted. Some questions were in green. So those questions come not always, but sometimes. So in some semester they give those questions. But besides those, every semester you see one of the questions I mentioned in the review sheet.
Very much. The question I think was on the answer sheet too.
It should be better so I can see you work including the question. But if you do it in person, I mean not in person, on paper you don't have to copy the question. But organize them, okay? Organize them in a neat way. Let's see how organized she is. Exxon, a question?
Yeah, sorry. So yes, last time was the last time to go.
I received half of your
Yeah,
materials.
I know my thing.
Send me another half. Okay, so I don't want to write everything down, so I'm using her solution. We're going to walk through the solution, and if you don't understand anything, ask question. Okay. So one of the questions in the final exam will be this, where we have a line in standard form. You have to find the slope. You have to find x-intercept, y-intercept, and graph it. To find the x-intercept, we need y to be 0. To find the y-intercept, we need x to be 0. So whatever you're finding, the other variable has to be 0. Here we are finding y-intercept first. So x is 0. So we have -5 y equals 15. Divide both sides by -5 and side y equals -3. But final exam requires you to write in point format. So y is -3 and x is 0. 0, -3. Then the x-intercept is when y is 0. When y is 0, we left to 3x equals 15. We divide both sides by 3 and side is 5. But here x is 5 and y is 0. It's 5. Now to find the slope, she used these 2 points, but you don't have to do that. To find the slope, you can directly solve for y from here, whichever is easier for you, okay? If you want to use the 2 points, x-intercept and y-intercept, no problem. But if you don't want to do that, that's also no problem. Oh, by the way, there are actually 2 questions, not 1 question. In 1 question, they will ask for slope. In another question, they will ask for x-intercept, y-intercept, and graph. So if you have 2 questions, that means finding x and y-intercept will take you time, so you shouldn't do that. Okay? So if they ask you only to find the y-intercept, all you have to do is solve for y. Oops.
So on the final exam, it will be just
2 questions.
2 questions. Is it counted as 2 questions or just 1 question?
Here I combine 2 questions into 1 question.
In the exam, it's 2.
2. So to find the slope, all you need to do is solve for y. Solve for y. So to solve for y, we don't need the 3x, so we subtract 3x from both sides. So we get -5y equals negative 3x plus 15. Minus 3x, so it gives us negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 15. And since you're solving for y, so divide each term by negative 5. So we get y equals positive 3 over 5x minus 3. So whatever you have in front of x, that is your slope. 3 over 5 without any variable. Only the number 3 over 5. Okay. Any question on this one? Oh, in for graphing, plot the y-intercept on the y-axis, plot the x-intercept on the x-axis, and then just connect them with a straight line. Here our slope is positive, so our line is an increasing line. If the slope is negative, it will be a decreasing line. Now, either they will ask you this question or the first question, find the slope. Okay? Or they give you number, like here they give you number 3x, 5y, 15, they give you number and this is solve for x, find the slope. Either they will do that or they will give you this question. They will give you standard form without any number, that's a variable. You have to solve for x. So you have to find the slope. Same rule, your goal is to get the y alone. So you subtract ax from both sides. So you get negative x plus c on the one side and b on the other side. Then to get the y alone, you divide it by b. So you get negative a over b and slope. So a, b, c, either they'll give them as a number or they'll just put them as a variable. Or they'll give you p, q, r, like any type of variable. It doesn't matter what they give you. Anytime you see the word slope, it means get the y alone. And then whatever you have in front of x, that's your slope. Because the format is y equals mx plus b. This m is the slope. That's all you have to do is solve for y. The number in front of x is the slope.
And what about slope y?
And the slope?
Put that in the y equal x plus b4, right?
That's it, just need to solve for y. That's all.
You don't need to do the y2 minus y1.
Mm-mm. You need y2 minus y1 when they give you 2 points. Like here. They give you 2 points, and I give you 3 examples. When you see 2 points and slope, you need the formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Make sure don't mess up with the position of your x and y. This is x1, y1, or this is x2, y2. So each pair has one x, one y. You cannot say this is x1 and this is x2. It's not possible, okay? Two x's cannot be together, or two y's cannot be together. One of them is x, one of them is y. The position doesn't matter which one is what, but you need to subtract them correctly. So she noted them which one is what. So y2 minus y1, 3 minus negative 11, x2 minus x1, negative 5 minus 5. Two negatives together turn into positive, so 3 plus 11 is 14. And when you have the same sign, keep the sign, but add the numbers. So it's negative 10. 14 over 10, you cannot leave that alone. You always have to reduce. Both of them are even numbers, so they're reducible by 2. That's side is 750. The next one is same. We have y2 minus y1, so negative 3 minus 3. x2 minus x1, 7 minus 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. You cannot leave that alone, Kayla. You have to write this is undefined. It means it doesn't exist. You have to write it down. If you leave it here, the whole thing is zero. Because what is negative 6/0? How much is that? Like here is a number we know, but for here we don't know. Is it a real number or something doesn't exist? You have to mention one anytime you have a zero. The next one, we have the same y value, 9 minus 9. So now we have 0 on the numerator. 0 on the numerator means the SI is 0. Just like that one, you always have to put undefined when you have 0 on the denominator. So one of the scenarios will be given in the exam. Matthews.
Wait, sorry, I think on zero, and just be zero, that's zero.
If the 0 on the denominator, it's undefined. When the 0 is in the numerator, the SI is 0. Anytime you have 0 at the numerator or denominator, you have to either like this or that, whichever is correct. For here, you leave it alone because both of them are valid. 7 is a valid number, 5 is a valid number. But when you have 0, it's a very sensitive number. You have to simplify that. Okay? Now, the next one, I wrote green ink. It means not always it comes in the final exam. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't. It's the same thing. 2 points are given. Instead of finding only the slope, this time find the equation of the line. Equation of any line is y minus y1 slope times x minus x1. Now here they give us the 2 points, x1, y1 is 1 point. That means the only thing we need now is the slope m. That's why the first step is find the slope. We use the slope from above. So let me show it here. First is slope y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That from above, it's 7/5. Because you already did the same thing on the first part.
How many questions is this book?
30 questions.
No. It's-
Oh, definitely the top one. And this one sometimes come in the final exam. So I'm not sure whether this final they will give this question or not.
You don't have a copy.
No, they give us final right before the class. We didn't see the final until right before the final.
So you won't know.
Surely 30 questions. But which 30, I don't know.
Shouldn't we meet you at like 12?
No. Grading, it depends. If I have less students, I can grade quickly. But if I have more students, it takes time. And you know how picky I am? I grade every single thing and check,
No, it's some that you need to enjoy. I'll have the pools.
Where do you see it? Oh, distribution. Distribute. So first step, find the slope. You need the slope formula. Once you have the slope, now you're going to put x1, y1, and the slope in this equation. So y1 is negative 11. X1 is 5. X1 is 5, y1 is negative 11. And the slope is negative 7/5. So negative turns to positive. Oh, what she did, she also multiplied both sides by 5. So let me do it in 2 steps instead of 1 step. First step, you distribute, so you get y plus 11 equals negative 7/5 x minus plus 7/5 times 5. So 5 cancel out. You get y plus 11 equals negative 7/5 x plus 7. Either you can distribute fast and then get here the denominator, or multiply both sides by the denominator so that there will be no denominator. So she multiplied both sides by denominator. So you put the arrow in wrong place. Kayla. This arrow should be here, the pink one. So what she did, she multiplied both sides by the denominator. When you multiply both sides by denominator, the denominator cancel out.
We're gonna do like 5 on it plus.
So multiply both sides. So here, 5 times y plus 11. And here the 5 cancel out, so negative 7 times x minus 5. So basically, this side multiply by 5, and this side multiply by 5. Let me keep her method, so let me erase mine.
No, use a different equation, or we have to use this equation.
What else you can use? Oh, you can use y equals 7x plus b.
Y equal. How would you do with y equal x plus b? You just plug in.
You have x, y, m, you need the b to solve for. But anyway, so this is actually one of the easiest methods. You replace y1, x1 slope. If you have a denominator, get rid of that by multiplying both sides. So 5 times y plus 11. This 5 cancel out, so you have negative 7 times that. There is a downside of this method. The downside is people multiply this and also that. So they multiply twice here because they don't have that multiplication of the only once.
Where did the 55?
In the next step, you distribute 5 times y is 5y. So yeah, it's not 55, it's 5y. And then 5 times 11 is 55. On this side, negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times negative 5 is positive 35. So you have a mistake. You add 7, 5. You add 7x, so it's 7x, 5y plus 55 equals 35. And then you subtract 55 from both sides, so you get 20. So final answer is correct, but in the middle, it's wrong.
I got
Wrong?
b as -4.
But it says write the answer in standard form. That means ax plus by equals c. You have to rewrite y equals mx plus b as ax plus by equals c, which is more work. That's why instead of solving for that, you can just use points law format. Actually, there will be one question, definitely in the final exam, where they'll give you 1 point only, and in the slope, they need to do everything else, which is 3.5 something, 3.5 actually.
1 point.
1 point in the slope will be given. So the 1 point in slope is given. All you have to do is here, you place the point in the slope and then do everything else. So even though this question may not come, but definitely that question will come. Where 1 point and the slope will be given, you have to find the equation of the line in standard form. No positive, no negative y, no fraction. Okay. The next question, many people don't understand, but actually it's not that bad. Yeah, it says second line is a line that connects 2 points in a curve. For this curve, x squared plus 2x minus 5. So basically it's a parabola. They gave you a parabola and they gave you 2 points. One is here, one is there. Here the x value is -3. Here the x value is 4. So they're telling us what's the equation of this line that connects x3 and x4. So the x equals -3 and x equals 4. What's the slope of that line? So we know slope of the line is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x. They gave us x1, x2. 2 x values were given, but the 2 y values are missing. So what we do is we replace each x value into the function. So for 2 x values, get to replace twice and get their y values. The first x is -3. When you replace, we get -3 squared 9. 2 times -3 is 6 minus 5. So we have 3 minus 5, which is -2. So when x is -3, y is -2. So we have -3, -2 as 1 point. Now when x is 4, the 4 squared is 16, 2 times 4, 8, minus 5. So 16 minus 16 plus 3, 19. That means when x is 4, our y value is 19. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug them into the formula and then simplify. Any question? Was anything unclear, confusing? Anything? Nothing? This is recording, okay? So you can watch later. Let me just go over the questions. So this is the question I was talking about before. Slope is given, 1 point is given. What's the equation of the line? The equation of the line is y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Replace x1, y1, and slope with their given numbers. This is not x, okay? This is times. So it's times. So y1 is -3, x1 is 5, the slope is 9/2. You replace everything, and then you use the final answer is y equals mx plus b. But in the exam, in the final exam, they will ask for y equal ax plus by equals c. So the second method I mentioned before was distribute your slope. So you get 9/2 x minus 45/2. Negative turns into positive. So y plus 3 is 9/2 x minus 45/2. You subtract 3 from both sides. So you get y equals 9/2 x minus 45/2 minus 3. These two are like terms, so you can combine them. But in order to combine them, you need the same denominator. So the same denominator is 2. Below 3, you need to put 2. But then you also have to put 2 on the numerator so that they have the same denominator. And they have the same sign. That means you have to add their numerators. So you get -45 minus 6/2, which is -51/2. Oh, not 1, 2. So y equals 9/2 x minus 51/2. This is which two? The same denominator. These two. These are like terms because these are numbers. But in order to add them here to the same denominator, once you have the same denominator, just combine the numerators. Since they have the same sign, so just add them. Now, if the direction says write in ax plus by format, ax plus by equals c, then you need to move x and y, and then you don't need any denominator. So first, let's get rid of the denominator. We have y equals 9/2 x minus 51/2. To get rid of the denominator, we need to multiply both sides by 2. So these two cancel out, these two cancel out. We get 2y equals 9x minus 51. Different denominators? Then you take LCD. Yes, there are cases pointing at different denominators. So to get rid of all the denominators, you need their LCD. Multiply both of their LCDs, so they'll cancel out. They will tell you on the format. And especially if there are multiple choice, you can see their format. So you have to write them into that format. So instead of subtracting 9x, I can subtract the 2y, so our 9x becomes positive, like it stays positive. So subtract the 2y from both sides. So x and y together, that means we don't need the 51. So we can add 51 to both sides. 51 cancel out from here, 2y cancel out from there. And we have our final answer, 9x minus 2y equals positive 51. This answer and this answer, they're same. One is slope intercept form and one is standard form. And definitely this will be that one. Question? Next comes parallel and perpendicular line. For parallel and perpendicular line, you have to remember parallel lines have what type of slope? Same slope. Same slope. And perpendicular lines have what type of slope? Negative and reciprocal. Negative reciprocal slope. That means in order to find the slope of the parallel line or the perpendicular line, you need to know the slope of this line. What's the slope of this line? And how do you find the slope from a standard form? Get the y alone. So all you have to do is solve for y. That will tell you what's the slope you have. So to get the y alone, subtract 3x from both sides. Then divide both sides by -7. So you get y equals 3/7. And the other thing doesn't matter. The only thing we care is what number we have in front of us. Parallel line will have the same slope. Perpendicular line we have opposite sign and reciprocal fraction. So this is positive 3/7. Perpendicular line will have negative 7/3. And parallel stays same. Matthews. From here, what you have to solve for y. Once you solve for y to find the perpendicular line, just flip it and entertain the answer.
But we don't have to write it down.
From here, so you need to know this.
Yeah, but.
So once you show this, just flip for perpendicular, keep the same for parallel.
Yes.
And definitely this will be in the final. Now next, 8 question or 6 question. One of them will be the final. Which one? I don't know. So I give you all 6 scenarios. The first one says, what's the equation and the slope of the line parallel to x equals -1? So first you need to know where is x equals -1. If this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, x equals -1 is somewhere here. So we need to know which line is parallel to that line and what's the slope of that line. And that line will go to the point 1, 2. So 1 is here, 2 is here. Draw a line that is parallel to x equals -1. How are you going to draw the line? X equals -1 is a vertical line. So its parallel line has to be what? A vertical line or a horizontal line? Another vertical line. So you have to draw a vertical line that goes through this point. What's the equation of this line? X equals 1. So x equals 1 and x equals -1, they are parallel lines. And what's the slope of any vertical line? Undefined. So for this type of question, you don't need any math. Just show the graph. Graph it, and based on the graph, answer.
But this is multiple questions, right?
One question will be in that sum. From all these, one.
No, it's but our answers are not.
Multiple choice, yeah. But they'll give you all the choices. X equals 1, x, no, like the slope. The slope will be 1, 2, 1/2, 2, undefined 0. Like they'll give you all those complicated choices. So you get confused, like which one is correct. That's why draw. When you draw, when you visualize, that says in front of you. The next one is very similar, but this time we are finding the perpendicular line. So we have x-axis, y-axis, and this time they give it a x equals 2 line. So 1, 2. This is the line given. And the point is -1, 1, 2, 3. So draw a line that is perpendicular to x equals 2, but it goes through this point. What type of line you're going to draw? Horizontal line. So this is the line perpendicular to x equals 2 line. So what's the equation of this line? Y equals 3. And what's the slope of any horizontal line? 0. Do you guys remember doing this at the beginning of the semester? And I remember John was very good on this. Do you still remember everything, John?
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Or,
That's why you're doing review, refreshing your memory. The next one, slope of parallel to the x-axis. So we have x-axis here. And the point is -2, -4 here. What type of line is, come on. So what type of line is parallel to the x-axis? Another horizontal line. So you draw the horizontal line here. What's the equation of this line? Y equals -4. So what's the slope? 0. Slope of any horizontal line is 0. Next is parallel to the y-axis. So this is our y-axis. The point is 3, 2. So what type of line is parallel to the y-axis? A vertical line or a horizontal line? A vertical line. So you draw a vertical line through that point. What's the equation of this vertical line? X equals 3. And what will be the slope? Really? What's the slope of any vertical line? Undefined. That's why multiple choice will make you thinking a little bit blurry. See, he said the answer is 0, but the answer is undefined. On the choices, you're going to see 0 and undefined, both of them. Be careful. A, B, C, D, 5 choices. But all of them are very close to one another, and they are based on students' practical mistakes. So students, mostly what mistake they made, they took the answers from those mistakes and put them there. So if you make the same mistake as them, you see the correct choice, like, oh, this is the correct choice. You pick it, and the answer is wrong. Just like the in-class exam. Many of you picked the wrong choices. And I felt really bad because the right choice is in front of your eyes. If you could only see the difference between your choice and the right one, you could get the point. But you get 0. I'm going to give you an example later. Perpendicular. Same question, but this time we are finding the equation of the perpendicular line. So if y-axis is here, what type of line is perpendicular to the y-axis? A horizontal line. So you need to draw a horizontal line here. And what's the equation of this horizontal line? Y equals 2. So what will be the slope? Good. So one of these choices will be given. Sorry, one of these 6 questions will be in the exam. But which one, I don't know.
So basically, if the line is like this, slope is 0, undefined. Slope is like this, 0.
Horizontal line has 0 slope, vertical line doesn't have any slope.
But the multiple choice will be asking for 0 or
They will mostly ask for slope, and sometimes they ask for equation. So if they're asking for slope, they'll give you all sorts of slope. 0 slope, undefined slope, and then number slope. You have to pick the correct one. Then one of these will be given, where mostly they'll give you fraction to evaluate the function. And they look tricky, but for some reason, they always come down to something simpler. Okay, so try to do shortcut as many times as possible. For example, here, she didn't use shortcut, she multiplied, but using shortcut makes your life easier. So step 1, you replace x with whatever given. And then we have -3 half square means +94. And then 4 times -3 half minus 3. Now, instead of doing multiplication like this, you can do a shortcut. So you have 8/9 plus 4-3 minus 3. Sometimes they give you bigger numbers. So if you multiply and then when you try to divide, you get you make mistake. So instead of multiplying, divide 8 and 4. 4 is in the denominator, 8 is in the numerator. So you are allowed to divide. 4 goes to 8 how many times? Twice. And now divide 2 and 4. 2 is in the denominator, 4 is in the numerator. So yes, you can divide. What is 4 divided by 2? 2. And then you multiply. You have 2 here and 9 here. You multiply them. You have 2 here and 3 here. You multiply them. So you have 18 minus 6 minus 3. 18 minus 9. That's size. Because the result is on the numerator and 9 is also on the numerator. So whatever you have in the numerator, multiply them. And denominator cancel out. Try to cancel them. Because if you don't, the numbers becomes bigger sometimes and it's hard to deal with.
If you did you could go like that way, like you multiply it, like.
You cannot multiply everything. You have to cancel them.
Well, like.
By I cancelled. Or after the cancellation, you can multiply. Your main goes to erase the denominator somehow. So to erase the denominator, you can just cancel it the 8. Because you can divide 8 by 4. And also you can divide 4 by 2. So if the denominator is divisible, if the numerator is divisible by the denominator, always divide first. Any question? So basically, I'm actually giving you the final answer. As long as you know these questions, you're ready for the final. Now, from 4.1 to 3, 2 questions will be in the exam. Which 2, I don't know. Definitely one like this and one from these 2. So to solve system of equations, there are 3 choices, 2 choices, either substitution or elimination. First one, she used substitution. To use substitution, you need to get one variable alone. So in the first equation, we can get the x alone by adding 4y to both sides. So x is 4y plus 14. Substitute that x into the second equation. 3x plus 2y equals 0. Instead of x, the whole thing you replace. And then you distribute. 3 times 4 is 12y. 3 times 14 is 42. And then you bring down the 2y. Now 12 and 2, they're like terms, so you combine them, you get 14. Now to get the y alone, you need to subtract 12 divided by 14. The answer is 915. When you get y, you come back in the x and you replace. So that y, you replace here, and then you get the x value. 4 times negative 3 plus 12, sorry, plus 14. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 14 is 2. So solution is x equals 2, y is negative 3. And I believe she has it on the denominator on the bottom. 2 of these, not 1. 1 from here and 1 from here. Just like this. Nothing easier than this. In the next one, I'm assuming she likes substitution rule a lot. So she's always using substitution. In the next one, using substitution is actually better because they already solved one variable for you. So we have x equals the entire big thingy. So in the second equation, instead of 3x, you get 3 times the big thingy minus 5y plus 20. And then you distribute. When you distribute, you get. So let me actually write down one more line. You get, let me change the color. You get 3 times 5 over 3y minus 3 times 4 over 3 minus 5y equals -4. So you can see 3 cancel with 3, you get 5y. 3 cancel with 3, you get -4. And you have the -5y. On the other side, you have -4. So plus 5y and minus 5y, they cancel out.
Which is the additional negative.
You're distributing 3 times 5 3y, 3 times negative 3 times 4 3. So you're distributing.
But we get somewhere.
So you get -4 on one side and negative on the other side. And this is true. -4 and -4. -4 is -4. It's a true statement. True means you have infinite solution. Means the two lines you have, they are the same line. So you have infinitely many intersection. Here, 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 here. So you have infinite solution. Because they're the same line. On the other hand, the next one, when you solve, try to solve, and you use substitution again. So when you solve, you get -15 on one side and +15 on the other side. 15 and -15, they are not same. So this is something false. If you get something false, it means there is no solution. It's false.
So what if we get +2 equals +2 infinite solution?
If you have the same number on both sides, it's real, it's true. So all solution, infinite.
So you know that these were after plugging in.
When you replace x equals the entire thing in the second equation, it distributes, and then you cancel the denominator, and then we're left with 5y minus 5y. They cancel out. So you have -4 on the left side and -4 on the right side. So you have the same number on both sides. So it's true. True means they're same line. It's infinite solution. But if you have two different numbers on both sides, that means false. Like something false doesn't exist. So there is no solution. Question? Let me refresh your memory with elimination method. So if you do want to use elimination here instead of substitution, you need to multiply, not the first one, multiply the second one by 2. So we have +4y and -2y, they cancel out. So you have x minus 4y equals 14, 6x plus 4y equals 0. In the elimination method, you have the same number as a coefficient with the opposite sign. So look at the y. We have -4y and +4y. They're the same 4y, but with opposite sign. So when you add the two equations, y cancel out. So you get 7y equals 14, divide by 7. Your y is, so 7x equals 14. So your x is 2. And then you replace into one of the equation to get the y. This is elimination. Elimination. The final answer, the solution, x value 2, y value -3. That's how you put them. The other one doesn't have any solution. They don't have any one solution. So you like infinite solution or no solution.
So, but the other one is y equal -3. So what would be the, and you find the other pair, but that's it. You'll write it.
So solve for whichever you want to solve for first. So here he solved for y first, and here using substitution, using elimination, I solved for x first. So whatever you want to solve first, solve that, and then replace that number into one of the equations to get the other value. So once I get x, replace into one of them to get the y. She did the same thing. She got the y, and then replace into one of them to get the x. And now the word problems. The green one comes sometimes, not always. But one from 11 and 12, definitely you're going to see. Now this requires system of equations. So one of the equation is for the quantity of how many items you have, and one of them is for money, how much money you have. So the first one says we have 5 apples and 4 pears. So the quantity is apples plus pear. And they are saying they use total $22.80. So we know total money is 22.80. So there will be one equation where the right side will be 22.80, and another equation will be for the next sentence. If apple cost 3 times as pear, so apple cost 3 times the pear. So this is one equation, and the other equation is 5 apple plus 4 pear, total 22.80. So 5 apple plus 4 pear is $22.80, and we know each apple is 3 times the pear. So substitution method is easier. You replace A equals 3P here. So you get 15 plus 4, 19P is 22.80, and you have to divide manually. No calculators are allowed. So here she showed work. Good. When you divide 22.80 by 19 goes to 22 once, you left it 3. Bring down the next number 8, 38. 19 goes to 38 twice. But between 22 and 80, you have a decimal. So you have to put a decimal on the quotient, on the top, when you write down your solution. So it's not 12, it's 1.2. And then we need a 0 because these are dollar. So each apple is $1.20. No, each pear is $1.20. You place P here, and then you get the price for the apple. So this gives us 19p is 22.80. That gives us p is $1.20. That means our apple is 3 times $1.20, which gives us $3.60. Okay. The second question says we need avocados and kiwis 30 pieces. So avocado plus kiwi 30, and the total money is $24. So one equation will have $24 on one side, and on the other side we have avocado is 150 and kiwi is 50 cents. So 150 avocado plus 50 kiwi equals $24. Here. Number of avocado and kiwi has to be 30, and their total price has to be $24. So price for avocado times number of avocado plus price for kiwi times number of kiwis, the total is $24. And then you can use substitution or elimination, whatever is easier
So
to solve.
why are they giving us very difficult numbers?
To see whether you can do fraction, decimal, division.
Isn't it a lot for 2 hours?
It is a lot.
Right?
That's why you have to practice to be faster. And I spoiled you guys. I gave you 2 hours to do only 15 questions. When the final exam, you need to do 30 questions in 2 hours. So yeah, you cannot slack off like in class exam. You have to be very fast, very, very fast.
Maybe the big year.
Hopefully I will be here if nothing happens to me. Like I'm feeling sick, so if I really get sick, probably I won't be.
Are you sick?
I'm feeling sick, so
Oh no.
yeah, I hope not to get sick. I hurt my back on Friday or Saturday, and now I can't even bend well, and my throat hurts. Like I'm having bad body aches. With you.
Which ones would you say take the longest?
I will say do the easier one. Whatever you think you can do them fast, and make sure you have 15 questions correct. And then use the rest of the time to do the other ones. But definitely need to prioritize 15 questions.
It's dependent, it's fast from another class.
Here. During the same class time,
Cool.
2 to 4. Okay, the last one, coins and quarter. So each nickels is 5 cents, each quarter is 25. We have total 19 of them. So quarter plus nickel is 19. And we know the total money is $35, $3.55. So either you can use dollar or you can use pennies. So here she used pennies, 25 quarter, so 25 pennies of quarter and 5 pennies of nickel is total 355 pennies of dollar. And then again, you can use substitution or elimination. For some reason, she loves substitution. Why, Kayla? Why do you love substitution? Easier? I love elimination because you can easily eliminate one of them. But yeah, using substitution or elimination doesn't matter. You solve for one variable and then substitute with another one. The hardest part will be division. So make sure you know how to divide well. So one of these three will be in the exam. One, not three. And then one of these. Simplifying radical. And I think this is one of the easier ones. So try not to skip this in the final. The first one says 64 to the negative 2/3 power. Negative automatically means what type of result you're going to have. Fraction. Good. So if you don't have a fraction result, that means something is wrong. So step one, either first write that using a fraction, or first simplify and then write the answer as a fraction. There are two ways you can proceed to this question. So she converted this into fraction. The negative turns into 1 over everything else besides the negative sign. And now you're reducing the denominator. So that way I taught you in class was this. Let's keep the negative sign for later. Just simplify entire thing and then turn into a fraction. So we are looking for some number denominator many times. So our denominator is 3. So how can you write 64? Some number with 3 power. What number to the power 3 gives you 64? 4. So you rewrite the inside. 4 to the 3 will give you 64. As a result, the denominator and the power cancel out. So you're left with 4 with the negative 2. That means our answer is 1 over 4 with the positive 2. So it's 1 over 16. See, the answer is fraction because we have negative power. This one, when we have 2 on the denominator, try to convert it into radical because 2 means square root. And when you see square root, things becomes easier. But you have hard time figuring out the symbol. This negative, is it on the base or is it multiplication? Good, it's a multiplication. So you keep your negative and then you can rewrite 81 with a 3. Never mind, let's keep it. Oh, not highlight, eraser. So negative 3/2. That means you're looking for some number to the square gives you 81. What number to the square gives you 81? 9. So you rewrite as 9 square. And we are allowed to do so because this negative is a multiplication. So square and 2 cancel out. You get negative 9 to the power negative 3. So negative times 9 to the negative 3. So negative 9 to the positive 3. And now my pen is not working. What's wrong? Oh, I need more space, so let me write it here. Negative times 1 over 9 to the positive 3. So 9 times 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 81 times 9 is 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. So 7 to 9. 9 to the power 3 means 9 times 9 times 9. So 9 times 9 gives you 81. Another times 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 8 is 72. So you have 729. And it's real because we have a negative multiplication. But on the other one, what is our base? 81 or negative 81? Negative 81. So can you think of a number if you multiply twice, the answer is negative 81? Negative 9 square is positive 81. Positive 9 square is positive 81. So can you think of something square as a negative number? So this doesn't exist because it's not possible to figure out. You cannot have a negative number even many times. So you cannot have a product of something if you multiply even many times. The product of negative number. So D and E, they look very similar, but they're not same. That's because this negative is a multiplication, so it's possible. But this negative is not a multiplication, it's a base. And we cannot have a base even times. A negative base even times. It's not possible. So E doesn't exist. For B, the same scenario. We are looking for 2/3. Then it's possible. No, 2/3 is still not possible, right? For this, the answer will be being not high because you're simplifying. Okay. The next one is similar. We are looking for same number. How many times? So if you have 3 5 times, the answer becomes 243. So we get 5 cancel out. We had 3 times. So the answer is 27. In C, what is negative? Base or multiplication? Multiplication. So this, and then you replace 125 with what? 5 to the power 3. So 3 cancel out. And since this is multiplication, so you get negative times 5 squared. So what's the answer? Positive 25 or negative 25? Negative. It's negative times 25, which is negative 25. I'm showing the terms so that you can see it's a multiplication, not a base. And now there are 2 questions actually. One is one of these from A to E, and another type is F. So 2 questions now. So F is a separate problem from the rest. What's the first step for F? Good job. It distributes the power both on the numerator and the denominator. So you get 2 to the negative 4, x to the 5 to the negative 4, and the denominator 4 to the positive 3, x to the negative to the positive 3. And I keep telling you over and over and over, do not simplify the number when the power is negative. If you do, you'll make mistake. For example, 2 has a negative 4 power. Do not do anything until you make it positive. So 2 to the negative 4, x to the what? Negative 20. Now 4 has a positive power, so yes, we can expand. What is 4 times 4 times 4? 64. And x to the negative 6. Now, Asim, I noticed your solution. You got the answer wrong here. That's why I told you, do not do anything until you convert all the negative into positive. This negative will come down because it is a negative power. This negative will come down because it's a negative power. This negative will go up because it is a negative power. So rearrange everything so that you have no negative power. As a result, you get 2 to the 4 goes down, x to the 20 goes down, and on the denominator, you already have 64. Keep it because it doesn't have any negative power. And x to the 6 comes up because of the negative power. So everything on the denominator, everything on the numerator comes from the denominator, but only one thing from the denominator goes up. Now this will give you what? X to the 14, where on the top or on the bottom? Good. See, Asim? The answer is x to the 14 on the denominator. And now all you have to do is multiply this. So 2 to the 4 is 16. Let me erase and write 16 here, since I don't have space. So you multiply 64 times 16, and you get x to the 14 on the top, on the bottom. And what is 16 and 64? How much? 1024. But we have nothing on the numerator. So what goes in the numerator? 1. They'll give you so many choices, the wrong one, the right one. And just because they see something on the choices, it doesn't mean it's correct. So please be careful. Don't make the same mistake as you did in the in-class exams. Multiplication, one of these will be there. Either A or B. If you get B, your life is easy. All you have to do is square both of them. So B are conjugates. So these are conjugates. And when you multiply conjugates, you get their perfect squares. Difference of their perfect squares. So you take 4x whole thing square minus 3 square. Now 4x whole thing square is not 4x squared, it's 16x squared because you have to distribute the power. So it's 4 square x squared. So 16x squared minus 9. And stop. But here another one, we have to distribute the for people who always make mistake distributing, I will suggest to write this way. You write 3x times 3x squared minus 5x plus 4. So you're taking one element here and multiplying everything here. And then you have minus 4 and multiply everything. 3x squared minus 5x plus 4. If you do this way, you'll make less mistake. Because I remember many of you made so many mistakes. So many of you made this mistake. When you distributed, you lost track of what you're distributing. So if you find yourself difficulty doing multiplication, do it this way and then just distribute. And then combine like terms. When you combine like terms, is the answer correct? I don't want to do the entire thing. So is this correct? Many of you submitted the answer, right? Correct? Good. One of the multiplication you will see in the episode. And now factoring. There will be one factoring, one solving question. Either with the second degree or with the fourth degree. Okay. But they both follow the quadratic method. It means either it's factorable or you can use AC method. Or factorable, direct factorable, or factorable using AC, or you can use a quadratic formula to solve. Now here it says just factor. So you're not solving, you're factoring, and you're done. When you have two terms, there are two choices, either GCF or perfect square. Here, it's not perfect square because we have a GCF here. Anytime if you have a GCF, that should be your first step. So this is GCF. Both of them have X in them. So take out an X, you're left with X minus 4. So it's not perfect square, it's GCF. On the other hand, if you look at D, we have two terms, but they don't have any GCFs, right? 16 and 81, we cannot take out anything. So it's perfect squares. So you have to rewrite 16x to the 4 as something square. Why do you have the entire thing? You have, I don't know why they do that. So let me not do it. So your goal is to write something square minus something square. First step, always write this, blank square minus blank square. Now then decide what goes inside the blank. The first one is 16x to the 4. So it's 4x squared goes the first inside. Four x squared. The next one is 81. So what square is 81? 9. 9 goes on the second one. So like this way, if you do this way, you'll make less mistake. When you have difference of a square, their product, their factors are their product conjugates. So 4x squared plus 9, 4x squared minus 9. For plus 9, we have nothing to do. This is prime. So you leave it alone. But here it's more factorable. So you do the same thing again. Something square minus something square. Since you have 4x squared, so this time what goes inside? 2x. And 9 is what square? 3. So that means their factors are 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3. So first one is factorable, second one is not. The formula, look at the formula. If you have different or perfect squares, their product is the addition and subtraction of their bases. So you take 4x squared and 9, you add them, you subtract them. That's the factors of their perfect squares. And that's why for this, you get only 2x plus 3, 2x minus 3, and the squares vanishes. So 2 terms means either DCF or perfect square. Now for 3 terms, there are so many things. Direct factorable, trial or error, or AC method. There are 3 things for 3 terms. And plus DCF, if you can factor out any DCF. So first of all, they have no DCF, so we're not worried about that. This one is direct factorable. This one you have to use AC. When you use AC method, when A is visible, you have to use AC method. Here A is not visible, it's 1, it's not visible. So when A is not visible, it's direct factoring, it's factorable. And when A is visible, for visible A, always AC method. And for AC method, you have either real AC method or the weird AC method. Now here, we have 4th degree. As long as one of the power is twice the other power, we can factor, if it's factorable. So 2 numbers multiplied to 14 combined to 5, 7 times 2, and minus 7 plus 2. So the bigger number is the middle sign, and we decide the sign for the smaller number. But this time our factors has to be, our variable has to be x squared, because we are distributing x to the 4 into 2 pieces. One is x squared, one is x squared. And we are distributing 14 into 2 pieces, 7 and 2. So you distribute A and C, and you get the 2 factors. Here you cannot factor anymore, so you move it. But if it is 4, you have to factor more. For AC method, you multiply A with the C. So you get 5 times 21, which is 105. And then figure out which of these will give you the results, the combination negative 32. So we get 3 and 35. This combination gives you negative 32. That means 35 has to be negative and 3 has to be positive. So negative 35x, positive 3x. And then you group them into two groups. In the first group, we can factor out 5x. And in the second group, we can factor out 3. So you get 5x and 3. And when you factor them out, both groups gives you the same outcome, x minus 7. So x minus 7, you pull them out and you combine 5x and 3. So you get 5x plus 3, one factor, and x minus 7, the other factor. If the direction says solve for x, you set them equal 0 and then solve for x. But if the direction says just factor, you factor and you stop. You have to get the x alone. So you set each factor equals 0 and then solve for x. But here it just says factor. So you cannot get your x alone. Now trial and guess, we use it when A and C are bigger numbers. So one good thing about trial and guess is that they will give you the choices and you're going to use them as the divider. So let's see here. So Kayla, in the exam, if you do this, I'm going to give you 0. Because you started with the solution.
No, I had more work before that, but I deleted it. I was trying to make it organized so you could see it.
So in the exam, you cannot erase anything. If you start with the solution, it's automatically 0. So you have to show me how did you come up with the solution, not checking. What you did here is checking, not the solution.
When the time runs out at the break, like,
Huh? It doesn't matter. If you start a solution, I'm going to give you 0 automatically without even checking the rest of the work. So I'm warning you guys. There are a few questions I'm really strict about. This is one of them. She started with the solution. How did you get this? How? I can see you're checking your work, no problem. But how did you come up with them? So I don't know how did you come up with that. That means 0.
The question is asking.
It's asking for factors. And if you start with factors,
Could you just check it right there?
Yeah.
The order?
what does it tell me? I can see she distributed them, but what it tells me?
So how would you show it?
Oh, you want the theme? Okay.
You have to show me your trial. This is called trial and guess because you have to do your trial. So you did not do any trial. You started with the solution and then you checked the solution. So where is the trial? You have to show me your trials. See, you have to do so many trials to come up with these two. So what are the trials? You can do anything, but I'm telling you, if you start with the solution, it's automatically 0. So don't blame me later, okay? I'm telling you before the exam. So trials, I mean, what happens? Technology. What happens? Come on. So what do I mean by trial is this. You have to split your first term and the last term. So the 14p, let's say these are p's, okay, instead of x. So 7p and 2p. How do I know? Because on the choices, you have 7p and 2p's. So you break them into 7p and 2p instead of 1 and 14. And now 15, that choices has only 3 and 5. So you pick 3 and 5. And then you're going to do your trial. If you pair 3 with 2 and 7 with 5, do you get 29 from them? 6 and 3 will give you 6p. And 7 and 5 will give you 35p. Can you get 29p from here? Positive. Is it possible? It is possible if 35 is positive and 6 is negative. Positive 35p minus 6p will give you positive 925p. So I got it in my first trial. So now from here, these two goes into 2 pairs and these two goes into 2 pairs. So whatever you play here, you cannot put them together because you have to multiply them. So if you want 2 to multiply with 3, 2 has to be one parenthesis and 3 has to be the other parenthesis. So first of all, negative, this is negative 6p. So our 3 has to be negative because by default, these two are positive. So 2p times negative 2 will give you negative 6p. That means 2p will be in one parenthesis and negative 3 will be in that another parenthesis. That means the 5 has to go next to the 2 and 7p has to go next to the 3. Negative 3. So see, show me your trial and then this, and then you can check, no problem. But if you start with these without any trial, sorry, it's 0. So you're losing 3.5.
And how many of these questions?
1.
One.
Yeah, just one.
But these are easy ones.
We don't have to check that over, right?
You don't have to check, but let's say you forgot which one goes where. So if you put 2 and 3 together, the answer is wrong. Because here they have 2 and 3 together. I mean, they will have 2 and 3 together. Okay? So it's better to check just to make sure you got the correct. So this is checking. This is not doing the trial. All of these are checking. Definitely we can check. I very encourage you to check them, but first show me your trial. Okay. Without any trial, if you start with the 2 solutions, I'm not going to accept that. And one of them will be in the exam, and I give you so many examples here with big numbers. So practice. Okay, one more question, and then I'm going to give you an exam. The next one is very similar to what you did. The only difference is here, you're solving for x. So you know to solve for x, first you have to factor and then solve. So 2 pairs means GCF or perfect square, right? Difference of perfect squares. So first you see GCF because they both have x. When you pull out an x, you cannot stop here because you have more factors. This is difference of perfect squares. So you factor more. What question is that? 18. So you have to bring it x down because this is one factor and you factor this one. So you factor completely and this is that equals to 0. That means you said each one of them equals 0 and solve for us. So you get 3 solutions. You don't have to check because this doesn't have any problem. You check when you have a denominator because denominator cannot be 0. You also check when you have a radical because radical cannot be negative.
this one we don't need to check the plugin and check, because the reason I solve for x on. Alright, so
Solve for x when you have a denominator, because we have a denominator issue. Denominator cannot be 0. Solve for x when you have a radical. Radical have an issue, it cannot be negative. So anytime your equation has a problem, you have to check. And then also check when you have system of equations. Because you have two equations, maybe one of them doesn't work. Okay, second one, problem is 0, we just see 0. So bring everything to one side so you can see 0. And then you have 3 terms, means direct factorable, it is factorable. It is factorable, 9 times 8 is 72, and that difference gives you 1. So you set each one equals 0, and you get the 2 solution. This is too easy, probably this will not be in the exam. The next one is the very same question you did before. 5x squared minus 32 is 21. So if it's factorable, you have to use AC method. If you don't want to use AC method, you have to use quadratic formula. But quadratic formula is a downside because when you multiply 4 AC inside the square root, 4 times 5 times 21 will give you a big number. And you don't know what is the square root of a big number. You can use trial, definitely. You can use trial, you can use AC method, and you can use quadratic formula because it's solving. And then the last one. The problem with the last one is that it starts with something negative. We definitely don't want to start our day with something negative. So step 1, get to the negative, multiply or divide both by negative 1. When you do that, it becomes simple direct factoring. 2 numbers multiplied 3 compared to 6 is 4 and 2, and you solve. So one of the solving, one of the factoring.
what's the negative one? Check it out.
Divide both sides by negative 1. So they cancel out. Now let's stop here. The rest we are going to cover tomorrow. So now I'm going to give you your exam back. And like I said before, for the quadratic equation, quadratic inequality, if you give me the answer after solving for x, I didn't give you any points. In the quadratic inequality. For the inequality, you need to do one of the two. Either you need to use a number line to check, or you have to draw the graph of the parabola to show me which part is positive, which part is negative. So if you didn't do that, too bad. How do you get what? Oh, usually I grade by Saturday if I don't have anything else to do. And this time I think I graded by Friday and I posted the grade Saturday. Because I want to give you a push to do the homework. If you see exam 5 grade, you can see how much homework you need to do. So I wanted to show you that. My computer is.